Over the last few years, a lot of Americans have watched armed federal forces move through U.S. cities and asked, why is the U.S. government using force on its own soil? For some people, that felt shocking, and for others, it confirmed something that they already knew. But this isn't a story about today, and it isn't about just one community. It's about a college campus in Ohio, 1970, and 13 seconds that changed the country. April 30th, 1970. President Richard Nixon announces that the United States is expanding the Vietnam War into Cambodia. Students across the country erupt. The war has already dragged on for years. Thousands are dead, and now it's escalating. At Kent State University, tensions were high. Protests had been building with walkouts, sit ins, and confrontations with the administrators. The campus was restless. May 1st. Students gather on the commons. By nightfall, unrest spills into downtown Kent. Windows shatter, fires burn, police clash with the crowds. May 2nd. Rumors spread, threats against buildings, talks of radical plots. The mayor declares a state of emergency. The governor calls in the Ohio National Guard. That same night, the ROTC building on campus goes up in flames. The guard arrives in full gear. May 3rd. Ohio's governor publicly labels protesters as dangerous extremists. College students are now being framed as the enemy. Then comes May 4th. Around noon, roughly 2,000 students gather again. The rally has been banned, but they show up anyway. The guard orders them to disperse. Most students can't even hear the commands. Tear gas fills the air. The guard advances, then retreats. And then they turn. For 13 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. 28 guardsmen fired between 61 and 67 rounds into a crowd of students. 4 students were killed. 9 are wounded. Some were not protesting, and another was walking to class. Some of them were nearly a football field away. No guardsman ever served prison time. Let that sit. 28 soldiers fired into a crowd of students on an American campus, and not one of them ever saw the inside of a cell. The images spread across the country. A young girl screaming over a body on the pavement becomes one of the most haunting photographs in American history. I grew up in Northeast Ohio. I learned about Kent State, but I never understood the full weight of it until I stood on that campus May 4th, 2024. Survivors were on campus, people who were college age when the bullets started flying, and in that moment, everything clicked. That history isn't something that happened, it's something that can happen. It is something that is happening. On May 4th, 1970, 4 college students were killed on an American campus by American troops. They weren't overseas, they weren't in a war zone, they were in a small college town in Ohio. And if you never heard that story, or if you have heard that story but not all the details, that is exactly the problem. Over this season of Untaught History, we're going to dive into the stories that were rewritten, that were buried, or that were stripped of their context because someone decided that you didn't need to know it. Because the thing is, history doesn't just disappear, it echoes. Welcome to Untaught History.